You're looking at a rotifer, one of the oldest and most resilient microscopic animals on Earth. These tiny freshwater creatures have been around for tens of millions of years, surviving massive changes to our planet while countless other species have come and gone. Today, we're going to introduce them to three popular chips: Takis Fuego, Cheetos Crunchy, and Kettle brand salt and vinegar. But before we do that, let's put each chip under the microscope. Let's go. Okay, here's Kettle brand at 40 times magnification, and we're getting our first look at the brand chip. One of the first things that stands out is how uneven the sample is. You guys, instead of one solid piece, we're seeing clusters of potato fragments scattered across the slide. Some of these pieces have a rounded, almost honeycomb-like appearance, while smaller particles fill the spaces in between. Even at this magnification, you can already tell this chip has a rough, complex structure that's very different from what we see with the naked eye, of course. So let's bump it up to 100 times. So here we are. We can really start to make out the potato's original cell structure. These rounded bubble-like shapes you're looking at aren't actually bubbles. They're the remains of the potato's storage cells known as the parenchyma. Before this potato was sliced and fried, these cells were packed with starch and water. So during the cooking, much of the moisture is driven off, causing the cells to shrink, collapse, and change shape. Even after all that processing, the basic framework of these parenchyma cells is still visible under the microscope. So 400 times magnification, we're getting a closer look at the potato's parenchyma cells. The faint curved lines are the remaining cell walls, giving us a better view of the chip's original cellular structure before it was cooked and fried. So let's move up to 1,000 times. All right, so 1,000 times, the larger structure you're seeing is part of the potato parenchyma. While those perfectly round circles are most likely tiny oil droplets, it's incredible to think that a simple potato chip still preserves microscopic details like these, even after being sliced, cooked, and fried. So it's time to introduce our rotifer. The goal here isn't to see whether the chip is harmful or beneficial. We're just observing how this tiny freshwater animal interacts with the microscopic particles surrounding it. Let's take a look. Okay, so here's our rotifer, and I found this guy in my backyard in an old flower pot that had a little bit of water in it for about maybe a few weeks, and here he is. So as you notice, he's eating, he's foraging, and you can tell from his cilia near his mouth. So it spins in a vortex of opposite directions on each side, so it creates that vortex that you guys see, and it pulls debris in. And you ask, well, what's he eating? Well, he's eating algae, he's eating microscopic debris, all kinds of stuff. But so once I introduce this Kettle brand chip to this rotifer, we'll see his reaction. So here it comes, and there it is. So let me see if I can adjust really quick for you guys. Now it's a big hit of the Kettle brand. I took the Kettle potato chip and ground it down and put some distilled water into it, and then use a pipette to introduce the solution on the side of the cover slip. Known as the capillary effect, and it pulls it from the opposite side and introduces the solution that way. But it looks like he's just moving around. He hasn't curled up in a ball. And usually their defense is, number one, is to curl up in a ball and remain that way for a very long time. And this is how they survived over millions and millions of years of doing this. But in this rotifer, it looks like he's doing pretty good. He's just, he knows something's wrong with his environment, something's changed. So he's looking to relocate and or check out the area for a better, safer spot. Now let's move on to our second chip, which is Cheetos. Okay, so right away you can see this looks completely different from the Kettle brand chip. And we're at 40 times magnification, and we're looking at a dense layer of crushed corn. It's covered in cheese seasoning. There are also tiny oil droplets scattered throughout the sample from the frying process. Compared to the last chip, this one has a much thicker, more uniform coating. So now we're 100 times magnification, and we can see that the cheese coating isn't one solid layer. It's actually made up of thousands of tiny particles packed tightly across the whole surface of the chip. There are still a few oil droplets mixed in it, but compared to the Kettle brand sample, this one has a much thicker coating that's hard to miss. So at 400 times magnification, we're getting an even closer look at the Cheetos coating. The individual particles blend together into a dense layer covering the entire surface of the chip. While there aren't many new details here, it gives us a better appreciation for how concentrated that coating really is. So at 1,000 times magnification, we're zoomed in so far that we're no longer looking at the chip as a whole. Instead, we're seeing individual microscopic components. The large translucent shape in the center is most likely an oil droplet surrounded by tiny fragments from the cheese coating. It's hard to believe all this is hidden inside a single Cheeto. It's crazy. Let's see how the Rotifer holds up to the Cheetos. All right, here he is. This guy will be introduced to our Cheeto solution, but first, let me zoom in a little bit so we can, I can show you what this guy's actually made of. So right here, as you look, you see the cilia, it's moving around in opposite directions to create that vortex. And then that thing right behind the cilia is called the mastex. And what that is, it's his jaw. It grinds everything up and then it pushes it further down. So the thing moving right there is his actual muscles pushing it to his digestive system. And behind that is his stomach. So it's pretty cool. And then he holds on with his toe or foot. I'm not sure if I can see that, but it's actually grabs particles and enables him to reach out and filter things, find things through his mouth. Pretty cool. So here comes the first blast, and there it is. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I hit this guy so hard that I couldn't find him after this. I mean, I looked for, I swear, 10 minutes on my microscope and I could not locate him. So I don't know if I blew him off the slide and he's gone. So, and I'll be honest, I'm not gonna fluff this up or clickbait you or nothing. I'm not gonna make anything up here. Oh my God, but he's gone. So sorry about that. Let's go ahead and move on to our last sample, which is Takis Fuego. Well, this one definitely stands out. The first thing you notice is that bright red seasoning. That's where Takis get their bold chili and lime flavor. And honestly, it's what makes this chip so addictive for a lot of people. So under the scope, you can really see how heavily it's coated. There are also tiny oil droplets scattered throughout the sample, making this look completely different from the Kettle brand and Cheetos chips. Let's move on to the next magnification. Okay, we're at 100 times magnification. It's easy to see why Takis have such a bold flavor. Take a look at that. The red seasoning isn't just sitting on the surface. It's packed onto the chip in thick clusters, along with the tiny oil droplets left behind during frying. So compared to the Kettle brand and Cheetos, there's a lot more going on here. And that heavy coating is exactly what gives Takis their signature taste. At 400 times magnification, we're getting a much closer look at the seasoning itself. What looks like one smooth red coating to our eyes is actually made up of thousands of tiny particles packed tightly together. That's important because smaller particles spread across your tongue more easily, helping deliver that bold burst of flavor with every single bite. So 1,000 times magnification, the seasoning starts to tell a different story. What looks like one smooth coating to our eyes is actually a mixture of tiny particles, each playing a different role. Some add color, some add flavor, and some help everything stick together. It's a reminder that even something as simple as a chip is more complex than it looks. Now let's see how the Rotifer holds up to this crazy Takis. Kind of feel sorry for the guy. Okay, so here he is. I hope this guy likes Takis. There it is. There's the first blast. It was a small blast, mind you, but it looks like it really hasn't affected him. You see that stuff moving from right to left? That is the Takis solution with distilled water and crunched up chips. But not affected. Look at, he's eating. His cilia is out and he's basically foraging and eating. So that did not affect him. He took it like a champ. Here's the number 2. So I blasted him again, and either this guy is Captain America or he loves Takis. I'm not sure what's going on, but let me blow it up for you guys. Come a little closer to see what is going on with this guy. Looks like he's affected a little bit, not much. He's just moving around, he's still eating. And guess what? That's a good sign. You know, my kids, they love Takis, but so does this Rotifer. I don't know, maybe he's younger than me, but anyways, great job.